What do you do when you're drowning in debt? Grief has robbed you of strength, and the only thing standing between your children and slavery is a single jar of oil. This is not just a Bible story, it's a divine blueprint for breakthrough, faith, and the God who meets us behind closed doors. And today, this ancient story speaks louder than ever. She stood at the edge of despair, a widow, a mother, a believer. Her husband, once a faithful servant of the prophets, had passed. Her home, once filled with laughter and purpose, now echoed with silence and dread. And now, the creditor was coming. Not for her furniture, not for her house, but for her 2 sons, to take them, to make them slaves. In her desperation, she ran to the prophet Elisha. "Thy servant, my husband, is dead. And thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord, and the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen." 2 Kings 4:1. Elisha looked at her, calm, compassionate, then asked the question that still echoes through time. "What shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house?" 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 2. She looked around. Nothing. No silver, no grain, no gold. "Thine handmaid hath not anything in the house save a pot of oil." A pot of oil, that was it. But in the hands of God, that was enough. Elisha told her, "Go, borrow thee vessels abroad of all thy neighbours, even empty vessels. Borrow not a few." 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 3. She and her sons scrambled through the village, knocking on doors, asking neighbours, gathering jars, not knowing why, just obeying. And then she shut the door, just like the prophet said. No crowd, no witnesses, just her boys, and a jar. "And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels." 2 Kings 4:4. And she poured and poured and poured. Jar after jar filled, oil flowing like a river from heaven, the little pot never empty. And it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said, "Bring me yet a vessel." And he said unto her, "There is not a vessel more." And the oil stayed. 2 Kings 4:6. No more jars, no more oil, but more than enough. She ran back to Elisha, breathless, and the man of God replied, "Go, sell the oil and pay thy debt, and live thou and thy children of the rest." 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 7. God uses what you already have. Even when you think you have nothing, he sees value in the little left in your jar. Your miracle may begin behind closed doors. The most powerful moves of God often happen in the quiet places, not in public platforms. Obedience unlocks abundance. She didn't understand the why, but she obeyed, and God honored her faith. Your children are watching. This woman's sons watched her trust God, and they saw his power firsthand. God doesn't just cancel your past, he funds your future. He didn't just pay off her debt, he gave her and her sons enough to live on. Are you down to your last jar of oil, feeling like you have nothing left? Give it to God. Shut the door, pour anyway, and watch him overflow your life with more than enough. Subscribe for more Bible stories that bring faith to life. Let's walk this journey together.